Hello. Let me know if someone can hear me. I just need to add Captain Gill and everything to the stream. We will start shortly. I just need to set some things up. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if Captain Gill is joining the video ninja. Otherwise, I just might have to start without. Anyway, we are here for Ellimac versus RandomJoe. Um, we are in this awesome tournament called the Final Refrain. It's round one. We're in the top left of the bracket. Ellimac and RandomJoe are facing off, and I am just constructing this as we go. So I have. This is Ellimac, trust me. Ellimac, who is the French National Alliance champion. Um, and the proudest Keyforge moment is when Isfet wins major tournaments, which is her boyfriend, obviously. Um, very, very nice player to see around. The whole French team is very, very friendly team. Also a very good player and meticulous in their plays. So versus Random Joe, and this is not Dave, it's Random Joe. And yeah, a long-time player. A proudest Keyforge moment, returning to Keyforge. If you know, you know, and being infamous isn't all it's cracked up to be. So let me get the matchups now on the thingy. And this is match, I think match number 2. So let me fix that here. Yes, Ellimac, RandomJoe. Ellimac is running a Brio Kaup kind of lockout. And RandomJoe is playing 4 Control the Weeks, 2 Scrambler Storms, a lot of logos, efficiency, and some Shadow Steel. And I think looking at this list, it depends on if the Control the Weeks hit well, but I would slightly favor Ellimac here because the Brio and the Kaup. But the Sharks can actually get rid of that quite easily. So it's not an easy call. Maybe slightly favored into Ellimac's. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I would lean towards Ellimac, but I think the players are already in the game, and I had some not miscommunication, but it was kind of tough. So maybe Captain Gale might also be streaming. So let's see what happens in the end. So maybe we'll have double coverage. It's fine. It's fine. Let me join the game. They haven't started. They have actually started. So I think Captain Gale is also recording this as we speak. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay. And I need to change the names. Let me fix that as well. So we have on the bottom, we have RandomJoe. RandomJoe. Not with Sharkbait. I'll fix that later. And at the top we have Ellimac. Hello. Stream name is the I know. I was down with a pretty bad headache, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. So I think Captain Gale might also be streaming. But we're here. We're here. We're actually turn 2. So turn 1. RandomJoe, though, again for the live ward, control the weak into Geistoid, then plays a Mind Barb, discarding Quartermass body. I would probably play it the other way around. Then Ellimac plays Well of Memory, Purge New Frontiers to return Boo and In There Somewhere to her hand. Plays Boo, plays In There Somewhere. So actually pretty good turn altogether for Ellimac on that. Control the weak turn for turn 2. Because Ellimac played In There Somewhere turn 1. That's why everything was in the discard. So turn 2 for RandomJoe plays a Scrambler Storm and then a Valen Analyst and lab work to archive something. Turn 3. So Ellimac cannot play any actions here. Destroys the Well of Memory, so it's back in our discard pile. Discards Biogeist, discards Mehmet. Maybe has another follow-up Geistoid turn after this one. RandomJoe is already on 1 key for all the Amber is generated. Probably wants to keep that pressure up. Goes Logos, Fogify, and another Scrambler Storm. So that's a second Scrambler Storm, and just reaps with the analyst. Trying to stall here. Ellimac goes for Unfathomable, plays Kaup, plays Addlefish. Is there any way to protect the Kaup? But even so, with Logos on board, you would only be able to fight off the Kaup, which wouldn't be terribly efficient. Um, because there is only one shark. So, yeah. There's Relentless Whispers, though. So that could take care of it. Okay, there you go. The Relentless Whispers was there. Stealing Ember, going to 5. Nerve Blast, stealing another one, going to 6. Ghostly Hand, stealing the last Ember, gaining 2. Bait and Switch, too much to protect. Yeah, there's not a lot of Ember from Ellimac at the moment, so you might as well just go hard. Is already at 11 Ember on check for a second key. Goes pretty fast there. Ellimac needs to get the lockdown soon. It's pretty far through her deck, so you would imagine that it's not far off. Goes into Star Lines. We'll go into some Lees, Retro Technician Lees maybe? So into the Warp to discard the top card of each player's deck. There we go, there we got the Lee. And a Pyro. The Lee is still ready. Are there any other? There's another Lee in the discard. Plays Multidimensional Rescue. So is able to return quite some stuff, but only has 3 cards in hand, so Well of Memory probably isn't one of them. Maybe you need the Kaup and the Brio. You can definitely get one of them with this Lee or the other Lee. Interested to see what you'll bring back. Hello, Dataforge stream. Gives me some time to fix this part. And RandomJoe is playing with Oppression. There, now we're all good. Taking time to think about what to bring back. Brings back Event Horizon, Well of Memory, and Bryo's Arc. So you probably should hold on to the Well of Memory. Plays down the Bryo. Uses Event Horizon to play Dirge of the Deep. And the Dirge of the Deep, discard the bottom card of your opponent's deck. And, well, that discarded the Color of Subordination, which is actually good to see. So uses Lee to bring down the Lee, and you'd imagine that there will be a Kaup at the end of the Lee chain to make it really hard for Joe to play anything of significance in the next turn. The Shark is in the discard. Can only play 1 card of each type and 1 action only, which would destroy the Lee, and then it would just, allow Ellimac to go back to the Star Lines and put everything down again. The problem is that there's already 6 ammo for a second key, so I think there's still Quartermaster Body. She did shuffle, however. It's not over. It's getting very tight, actually. It was just in time. If she can take 1 amber off, 1 amber off RandomJoe, this is still very much still very much in the game here. Random Joe will probably be able to make 2 Ember on the next turn. Um, while Cola after Reap keys cost +2 during your opponent's next turn. So what will you do with the Dust Imp? Will you run it into Kaup or will you run it into Waikola? Well, it will not kill Waikola, so probably you run it into Kaup, right? Um, play Circle Speak. So it captures 2 from himself, putting her at 8. Um, yeah, I think Random Joe might be in a world of trouble actually. Yeah, that was just in time, the lock, just in time. Joe taking his time. Because this is not an easy call, actually. Not an easy call to make at all. I wonder if we have simultaneous um, commentating going on here. let me see if Captain Gale is also streaming at the moment. If anyone knows, let me know. Pops the live ward, plays control the weak, doesn't do anything, and uses a Dust Imp to reap. So um, that's 3 Amber. Ellimac makes first key. Now just needs to hold off 2 more times the key. The live ward could be very tricky actually. Could be very tricky indeed. Hmm. Hmm. In Unfathomable, she can stop him for sure. But can you stop him 2 times in a row? What's the Ember control in this deck actually? Let's see. There's still an Ecto Charge, but not far through the deck. I think the Well of Memory is in hand. There's an enhancement on. Okay, so it goes into Unfathomable. Plays Nightmare Inducer with an Ember Pip. Reaps of Bryo, Reaps of Kaup. Reaps with Vicolia, increasing the Ember cost, so it would be 8 Ember. Plays an Addlefish. Where do you play it? Probably on the left flank, right? Yeah. Only drew 1 card. If I was Random Joe, I would probably just make as much Ember as I can, and that's definitely 2 Ember in the case of this. Then we'll be at 9. Then Waikola is only able to, will not take him off. Hmm. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Very tricky. What would you do? Let's see, 1, 2. I can zoom in a little bit on this, make it a bit bigger. Oh, made HOAs while I was looking at this. Plays Poison Wave, discards Poison Wave, discards Lights Out, discards Nerve Blast. Only made 2 Only made one Ember that turn. Okay, but did pop the life ward, so no creatures can be played. Can Ellimac find one more capture somewhere? I don't know. There is also maybe with Geistoid there might be a way to bow her way with Mill of Memory towards the Ecto Charge, but I don't think there's enough Ember there. But let's see. Goes into Geistoid, moves all card arts in archive to hand. So maybe I'm wrong and there is enough there. There's 2 on board. Boo is 3. Ecto is 4. 2 more actions would probably do it if she can cycle all the way there. With Well of Memory, it could be possible. Could be possible. Maybe calculating as we speak. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, I think she has to go for the win here now. I don't see any other way out at the moment. So yeah, it's just a matter of does she have it or does she not have it. Plays Biergeist to start off. Can play something here. Maybe the Shark, which, well, actually you can't play creatures. So it's actually just the Ember. Winds of Death to destroy, gains 2 Ember from the distant. Plays Boo, and is, yeah, it's already enough with Ecto Charge, right? If she has it. There you go. Game 1 with the Ecto Charge. Exactly enough. Um, whew, spicy game 1. Well played. Ellimac. I think RandomJoe was probably feeling quite confident up until the very last, where you saw the Geistoid call, and then yeah, she had to go for the win. I don't think she had any way to take RandomJoe off again. So game 1 goes to Ellimac. I did capture the logs. Let me update the stats here. Yeah, wow, GG. Yeah, it wasn't looking that way for a long time, but okay. Now Ellimac gets to go first because RandomJoe chose to go second. Wonder if he killed his Dust Imp instead of Reaping, does he win? Maybe. I don't know. I have to look back. So Ellimac starts this game with the Boo turn 1, which, oh, there's quite some stuff in your 1 Lee. So if she gets some Lees, and one of the 2 other Lees, that might be nice. But there's a Logos board, and Fogify, and Scrambler Storm. So Ellimac is a bit slowed down here by the Scrambler Storm. And Skippy is also there, so your opponent cannot use any card. So even if she had a lead, she couldn't use it. So has to take a slower turn with Unfathomable. plays Wycolia. Plays Rustmiser, which is not something you see often with a discard pip. Discards Mehmet. So probably not planning on going into Geistoid next turn. And the Corky Germinator returns Fogify to the bottom of RandomJoe's deck. Definitely not the Scramble Storm, because that's not what you want. Not a bad turn. Like those creatures had to get out of hand somehow, so it's still fine, I think. Turn 2 for RandomJoe. Wants to generate as much as Amber as soon as possible. Shadows is mainly focused on stealing, so I think he would rather have a this turn where he generates Amber and slows Ellimac down. But let's see. 3 Logos cards is also not bad. And with the Titan mechanic, he'd be on check, even. Okay, so it does go into Logos, puts another creature down, and a shark. Puts himself in check, and, well, is hoping to get rid of... Ooh. Doesn't get rid of the the Wycolia because of the Positron Bolt discard. So there is an option for Ellimac to stop the key, but I think she much rather uses this, let's say, free or open turn to actually do or work on her own plan. Because there's no Scrambler Storm, there's no Fogify, there's no Live Ward Pop, there's no Skippy, there's no Control the Weak. She can do anything she wants at the moment. And with what's in her discard, it might be a very good moment to uh, put some creatures down with either Beer Geist and Geistwood or with the Retro Technician Lees, if she has them. And then on board, there's not much. You don't want to go back into Logos again, I think. But the Shark is there. I do think that there's the damage pip um, on a creature somewhere. Let me check that out. Okay, so there's a damage pip on Aquafly and a damage pip on Boo, which the Boo is already played. Is there anything in... No, I don't think there's anything in Starlines that can get rid of that shark, because that shark is annoying. Goes into Starlines, does have a Lee, that's good. There's another one in the discard. Plays Multidimensional Rescue. Oh, well now it gets interesting. To return Dirge of the Deep and Retro Technician Lee. The Dirge of the Deep, maybe. Oh, it will discard the Fogify. So it exhausts all of these, right? Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. At least that's what I think is happening, right? So the Dirge of the Deep discards the bottom card of your opponent's deck. Everything's exhausted, cannot go back into Logos to exhaust. Now gives Ellimac the opportunity to play both the Brio and the Kaup with the Lees. So yeah, that the lockout is almost there. Has to find a way to get rid of this Logos board at some point in potentially. It can be in multiple houses that it can happen. Another draw off the Brio, which is great. But Joe is in trouble because even if he manages to clear this, a well-timed Winds of Death will just put everything back in order. So turn 2 and Brio Kaup on board. Your whole board is exhausted. This is bad news. Or good news, depending who you're rooting for. It's not over yet for sure. But that Fogify on the bottom with the Dirge of the Deep. That was pretty good. That was well played. RandomJoe considering all his options here. Um, hmm. I'm not sure how I see a way out of this at the moment. There's probably no logos cards in hands, right? And then oh, this is awkward. Yes, life wards might be annoying, but it only comes alive in 2 turns. And next turn, whatever action you use to kill the Lee will just come back. Um, oh, color subordination. Ooh, that's huge. That is huge. Um, so, okay, okay, okay. We've got a game. We've got a game. Place 3 Fates and Control a week to kill 2 creatures. Um, Cow being on the other side now. Um, there is not an easy way for Ellimac to kill it and take it back herself and not leaving the shark alive. RandomJoe throwing the curveball. Yeah, Dirge of the Deep can be a very strong card actually. And it was particularly strong in this case. But this Color of Subordination, oh, that's such a dangerous card in this matchup. Such a dangerous card because it goes through anything. Goes to Unfathomable. Probably kills this with the Rust Miser. Maybe has a second Kaup if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, 2 Bryos. Oh, exhaust the live ward. What is going? Exhaust each enemy artifact. That's interesting. Place Coftus Hema. The shark is still there though. Plays Eldritch Sinnin. At least the live ward cannot be popped, right? So that would have been really bad. Goes to check for key number 1. Yeah, oh, is it a 12 card? Yeah, you're right. First print quota. They fixed that later. This can no longer happen. But this is a first print quota with 12 action cards. Um, that's pretty insane. Nice that you point that one out. um, yeah, so RandomJoe can play multiple actions, but can also go back into logos. Can get to check on logos, probably. Would Reap with the Shark. Definitely take out the Brio first. Kill your Dust Imp. That's 2 Ember. On the next one, now you fight first with your Quixo, and you take out the Lee, and you draw probably. Then you try to. There's a sequencing challenge here as well. Not a lot of extra logos cards, probably though. So probably Shadows is looking way more valuable because he takes Ellimac off of check with that as well. But would it be able to kill the Brio? Probably not. So even though that Shadows might look tempting, it might not even take Ellimac off check, and Logos might be the best option here. And then give the key to Ellimac. That's fine as long as you're faster. That might be okay. Not an easy decision at all. Not knowing the hand, I would probably, I think I use Creo to fight here, see what I draw. Then probably I would reap here, and then reap. Okay. Wow, whoa, 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 whoa. So uses his whole hand of shadows to just kill everything on the board and just get the Ember pips. Goes to 7 Ember, cleared the whole board without even the effects of the steal. Okay, but Ellimac is free to do whatever she wants now. So Winds of Death seems likely, with maybe a Beergeist. Is Will of Memory there? Okay, let's see. Let's see. It's getting a bit dangerous for both of them because I would imagine that Ellimac will not be able to take RandomJoe off of check. But we've seen last game that out of nowhere there can be a second, like a third key with Ecto Charge. Ecto Charge is in this card, but there is in here somewhere, right? So there's an in here somewhere. Winds of Death would be good were it not for the fact that Life Ward can be popped. And it would give RandomJoe 2 more Ember. Yeah, Ellimac needs second key first. That's completely true. But I think Winds of Death here would be maybe your only path to victory, but it would also be very dangerous because it puts RandomJoe very close to being on check for his third key. And you are not able to play any creatures next turn, I would imagine. So, does play Winds of Death, right? Lot of stuff in archives. Plays Beergeist. The Shark. Brilliant. Okay, there we go. Brilliant play, brilliant play. So the Shark takes out the Life Ward. Echo Fly returning Beergeist. So there's a big board coming down. But is there enough Ember control in any of these houses to take RandomJoe off of his third key check if he gets there? 15. 14 cards I get through Winds of Death versus 1. That's unfair, seems like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Geistoid cards in the discard pile. And 1, 2. Oh, Skippy. Skippy in archive. That's something. Yeah. A lot of difficult choices here. A lot of difficult choices. I think at first you just want to get to check, right? That's definitely what you want to do. You just spent all your shadows, so there's not a lot of steel. So either it's a mix between this or logos, or maybe one or two shadows cards you drew back into. If you choose logos, are there enough Ember pips to go to 6? We could actually probably work out what there is. There's no Scrambler Storm because I see two of them. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 there. There's a good chance there's 3 logos cards, but not 3 with an Ember pip, I don't think. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 this is in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's a really well mixed. It could be a 2-2-2 hand. Um, it could easily be a 2-2-2 hand for RandomJoe where he's not able to get to 6 Ember, which would be the primary objective now. Then 1 control in a week, 2 control in the weeks. There is 4. But any house is pretty bad, actually, to call in. You don't want to call control the week on Geistoid because Beergeist is there and there's a lot of creatures. You don't want to control the week on Starlines because with Starlines you can, if there's any discard pips, you can still play creatures from other houses. Um, and calling control the week on Unfathomable is also pretty bad because you're being locked out the turn afterwards. I think maybe Starlines might be the best bet because there's no way to get the Kaup and the Brio into the discard. Um, so, but the body can come into ready and do some stuff there maybe. Hmm. Yeah, that's what I imagine is going through RandomJoe's mind. Obviously, I'm not a mind reader, so I'm not for sure. By the way, this game has a luxury of 2 casters casting it, so different channels. I'm really curious what Captain Gill is talking about right now. We might have to put like a side by side or something if we have the time. I know he's very analytical as well, so I'm really curious what he thinks about this game. It's an interesting game for sure. I'm just taking a sneak peek at his stream. That's what I'm doing. Oh, Ellimac disconnected. Ellimac reconnected. Yeah, so he's pretty much doing the same that I was doing, going through the house cards and trying to think of what could be in hand. Okay, does control the weak into Geistoid, puts Charette down and a life ward. Is Geistoid, yeah. I think with BR Geist, but maybe there's no way to get the. Yeah, you don't get your cards into the discard easily because they're in archive. Um, there isn't a BR Guy's target either at the moment because she's not haunted. Albie Stray was one of the creatures in the archive, so can kill the charrette. Um, but the life ward is a challenge here. Hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting turns. Has to go Geistert, obviously. Um, depending on what's in their draw, she might not pick up her archive. You'd be very tempted not to when you have a 15 card archive and you might have Well of Memory somewhere in hand or archive. Um, discards Mehmet to get haunted, presumably. Did pick up the archive. Discards Winds of Death is now haunted. Plays LB Stray. Exactly, right. To reap and capture. Okay. Uses in here somewhere to archive some key pieces. I would imagine it's the Active Charge and the Boo with the damage bit, maybe. To have that like ready to go. If she can get to check here and set up the win for next turn. But I think we only saw one controller weak, correct? So the other controller weak might be in hand even. So probably archiving Geistoid is a good thing here. Yeah, it'd be hard to not archive Active Charge and Boo. Yeah, that's what happens as well. So even though Control the Weak is there, you definitely don't want to control the weak into Geistoid if there's a lot of amber to be made. That's it. Okay. Okay. This gives RandomJoe quite some opportunity to. In this, control the weak and the reap would get the 6, popping a life ward. Again, tough call, tough call. It's a shame I didn't get to look at the discard pile. But I think there was 9 cards in there, right? 9 discards. And then played Life Ward, Charette, and Control the Weak. Maybe there was 8 in there. So maybe the only thing from this it's there is the Control the Weak, the 4th one. And then you do get the 6. And you would control the weak into what though? Is there? I think every house has a way to. take him off check. I think every house has a way to take him off check. There's Circle Speak in Unfathomable. There's the Albi Stray on board for Geistoid. But with the Life Ward popped, actually, Starlines might be safe. Maybe I got that wrong, but maybe Starlines might be the key to victory here if you call this Reap Control the Weak. Yeah, only grab some hunted players, or just a normal capture, right? Or am I mistaken there? Probably I'm mistaken. I'm not in super good shape for this stream because I was actually having a headache and saying, "Hey, Captain Gale, please take the stream." And then I got woken up saying, "Hey, you might have to stream." My girlfriend, like, okay, let's do it. Yeah, RandomJoe isn't haunted. Okay, so Circle Speak only captures from haunted players. Okay, but yeah, so maybe even Unfathomable and Starlines might be safe then. It goes Shadows. So we'll give Ellimac an opportunity to um, do something. Poison Wave, Relentless Whispers, another Relentless Whispers goes to 8. So is 8 enough? Let's think here. 5 cards in this card. Might be enough actually. Because no creatures can be played. With Well of Memory, what could you possibly cycle 2 times? No, I'm not seeing the out here at the moment for Ellimac. Covetous Hema maybe? Covetous Hema captures 3. Okay, GG. Okay, so there was no out, so concedes. Game 2 goes to Random Joe. There's always game 3. So we're getting ourselves a game 3 here. Who do you want to go first? Well, TCO will ask that, so that's fine. Hema can be played. You're right. See, I'm not on top of my game. If you want really great commentary at the moment, you probably should go to Captain Gale, and then I turn off the stream as well. But I will sit this through. I will soldier on. So game 3. We've had a lot of games go to the third game. Actually, I think only 2 or 2-0s so far. So that's nice to see that most of the players are competitive in the matchups. So Ellimac goes second. Did mulligan. RandomJoe did not. Starts with Bryo and Eldritch Sinan. So first card played was Life Ward. Then Bryo and Eldritch Sinan. Yeah, trending well behind in Archon in the number of 2-0s. So at least 2 actions cannot be played. I think this is I think that's good for Ellimac, because even if it gets wiped, at least you have like a turn where you can do whatever you want, right? Yeah. Into the warp. Scout peeped. What did top? Oh, Kaup got discarded there, and Relentless Whispers on the other side. So Event Horizon to another Into the Warp, and that Into the Warp had a draw icon on it, and discarded Retro Technician Lee and Control the Weak. So cycling through a deck, a lot of star lines. So you would think that there's a pretty good chance there's a nice Geistoid hand here. But RandomJoe has the life ward. I don't think you'll pop it now. I think you'll save it. I think you'll save it. Looking at this match a bit closer now, I think Ellimac's build, or like the Brave Cow block, running into this life ward, shark, scrambler storm nonsense is actually pretty bad. And the Skippy. Um, so RandomJoe buys himself another turn where with scrambler storms and no actions, and Skippy, so no usages of cards. So no actions, but creatures can be played. Most of the creatures are in a discard that you want to play. Uh, Maybe some Geistoid creatures then. Eh. You really wanted to play Winds of Death here, I think. Hmm. So place the Echo Fly, discards active charge, discard Winds of Death. So probably the second Winds of Death is there as well, because I think there's two, right? There's two. So giving it over to RandomJoe makes the first key. Maybe a this turn, and then the most intuitive thing would be to control the weak into Geistoid. But I have a feeling that Ellimac is holding on to the second Winds of Death. But that's just a feeling because of the discard of the first Winds of Death. Ghost Shadows, bait and switch to steal 1 amber, pops the life ward, poison wave to deal damage, lights out to return them, opting to optimally play his hand and generate amber. Control the weak into star lines. Yeah, but like I'd say the intuitive thing to do would be, I wasn't saying that that was the best thing to do, but that would have, like in a normal game, you see someone dump their whole Geistoid hand, and then you control the weak back into the house they just dumped their hand into. Like I said, that's the intuitive thing, but not the best thing to do. Uh, but now Ellimac has a free turn, um, no life ward. So if the Winds of Death was there, I think you should definitely try and play that. Or Well of Memory, is that maybe? Well of Memory could be an option as well. Starlines. Oh, so to control the weak into the Starlines would have been actually the plan all along. Discard Spyro, discard Lieutenant Alasta because of the life ward. Um, a 6 card still, so it doesn't draw anything after discarding. Plays New Frontiers, chooses Geistoid, finds only one in here somewhere, but discards 2 other creatures. Ah, so multi-dimensional rescue could get back the Winds of Death and can play it actually now. Um, that sounds pretty good. And you maybe also take back. Well, do you take back a creature? You can't even play it anyway. Maybe only to discard it right away. Who knows? Maybe you actually. No, no, you don't. I was just thinking maybe you can get something into the discard for the lease that way. Um, hmm, we'll see. The color is still a thing, right? The color of subordination. So that's also still very scary. These are not easy plays to make. There's so many options. Winds of Death and Brio. Okay. So plays Winds of Death to archive a lot of things. Again, the Skippy is the only card in the archives, which can be very relevant at one point. And passes the turn. So it has Brio in hand. And everything else in the discard. Maybe you could have grabbed the Lee in hand, discarded, and then it's also an archive, and you draw maybe an extra card. Um, I don't know. It's definitely the longest Alliance games we've had because there's so many things to consider. RandomJoe only has 7 creatures in total. That's funny. So there's Charette and Dust Imp, 1, 2. Skippy, Shark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 7 creature deck. That can't be good, right? It's not sealed. Oh, it's not sealed. Okay. It's Alliance. That's crazy. 7 creature deck. Looking at the discard, it seems likely that there's quite some logos cards in hands. Together with the Skippy, might not be a bad turn. then at least the leaves cannot do their work, right? But the leaves can't really do their work because all the creatures you want to take back from your discard are actually in your hand then. So maybe if you found the second life ward, okay, goes into shadows, keeps pushing Ember, only get to 5. Ellimac will be quite happy with that because now she has 21 cards that she can do with as she pleases, including the double Bryo, I think, and the Cowp, which she can hide. The Shark is still somewhere, right? So a follow-up turn with Shark and Skippy is also quite okay for RandomJoe. Plays Bryo, draws a card. Plays a second Bryo with the draw. Such great enhancements on those Bryos. Unless you don't want to shuffle, but where do you put the Cowp though? Behind all of them? Probably, right? You put the Cowp on the right and everything else on the left. And then the Shark takes out the Cowp. And then the Skippy comes down and you can't use your leaves to bring them back. Yeah, Logo seems like a solid choice next turn. But you're not making a lot of Amber though. Might just be delaying stuff. Plays Nightmare Inducer. Maybe was thinking about oh, that's the other artifact. Okay. So Dirge of the Deep, discard pawn, sacrifice, plays Rasmicer with a discard icon. Echofly to Archive Dirge of the Deep, we saw how useful that could be with the Corky Germinator. So if RandomJoe goes into Logos next turn, which I think he will, and the Shark stays on board, then at least she can disable all of those creatures with the Corky Germinator. So maybe hold on to the Corky Germinator in your hand. Maybe. So scary board here. Plays Covetous Hema, capture some stuff. Eldritch Sinan. And does play the Corky Germinator. Okay, so if I'm RandomJoe, yeah, there's not a lot of Logos creatures. So actually, return bait and switch to the bottom of the deck. Okay. Okay. This is rough for RandomJoe. So hypothetically again, Logos can get rid of the Cowp and can prevent Retro Technician Leagues from going crazy. But that's all it's doing. It isn't great either. Scramble Storm won't do anything. Color of Subordination might be sweet on Cowp, but it doesn't really stick because there's such a big board. Takes his time, obviously. Hypothetically, color subordination, a second life ward. Yeah, nothing is really great actually here. You need more logos creatures to uh, use the shark more effectively, I would think. Maybe at least two other logos creatures, and then hope you don't discard the logos cards. Yeah, double Brio is pretty terrifying. I'm honestly more scared of a double Kaup than a double Brio, but in this matchup, the consistency of finding your Brios, yeah, I don't think there's any really good plays here for RandomJoe, but let's see. Place the color on the Kaup, sure, and Life Ward, yeah, that's it. Does give Ellimac opportunity to at least reap for a lot of amber, and definitely is able to get rid of the Kaup. And the Rust Miser is there, so still, um, Amphathmo looks okay-ish, but all the actions will just destroy this. But fighting with the Adelfish into the Kaup, discarding 2 cards, reaping to exhaust, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, going to 7 amber. Okay, okay. Um, then maybe you do that one more time. Okay, Star Alliance. So with the Lee, I can only play 1 Lee though. But you can play Lee. Oh, it's not ready. Oh, maybe he didn't look at the discard. That could be very costly. That could be very costly. It's an understandable thing to maybe miss because you're going through and like do this, and this. And you cannot play another Lee here now. Oh boy. No, 2 Bryos does not kill 2 creatures. No. Yeah, didn't realize they were haunted. Probably. You're not really gonna ask now as well, like, hey, I didn't count my cards. Can I please? Oh, that is so rough. That is so rough. What can you do now? What can you do now? Discard. You should have discarded 1 Lee, run that Lee in there, play the other Lee, bring the 2 Lees back, bring the cow back. Yeah, that would have locked down the game for sure. Now, it's not lost yet, for sure not. But it makes it way more difficult. Way more difficult. Scraps the Lieutenant Lasta, which, yeah, that order. Oh, yeah, that happens, when you're playing 2 long games and when the pressure is on. Um, would that happen in real life? Maybe not so much because you're counting, right? Um, but the fact is that it has happened now, and it's a real challenge here. Um, like I said, it's not lost yet, but with the follow-up turn with logos and the life ward pop, that's pretty bad. You make that mistake regardless. Yeah. So discarding Scout Pete, there's still 2 Lees in hand, I believe. I think you keep 2 Lees in your hand, maybe. I'm not sure, honestly. Only has 25 Ember pips. So now the real challenge is okay, you made that mistake. Don't let it get to you. You can still play for the win. You gave yourself a challenge. Weird way of showboating, but it's still doable, I think, but a lot harder, a lot harder. So it does go logos, place the 1, 2 creatures and the shark, and then hopes that he doesn't discard logos cards right away. So you kill Kaup. No, you don't kill Kaup. You kill 1 Brio and the other Brio if possible. Nerf Blast discarded, so it happens again. You kill your Analyst and the other Brio. Control the weak, so it happens again. So now you kill your Shark and the Hema, probably. Or the Lee. But the Lee can't really be used. You're definitely leaving that Kaup. Because creatures cannot be used. So that Kaup is going to be a pain in the butt. Right. Plays Keo. Oh. Plays Postrum Bolt. Still able to kill the Lee. Or the Waikola. Waikola can be used anyway now. Oh, this could have been so different. This could have been so different. Yeah, so kills the Waikola. It says check. Has enough Ember for it. 3rd key as well. Tough spot for Ellimac now. Cannot use any creatures. That Skippy is the killer here. Otherwise, you could have just used your Lees. Goes back into Unfathomable. Cannot use creatures. When it rains, it pours, I guess. Moves all cards, so it does have Circle Speak. Okay, captures 2 more Ember there. Discards Dirge of the Deep. And the Nightmare Inducer. Yeah. Do you want to put something on the bottom, though? A well-timed Control the Weak now on Unfathomable, and it might be over. It might be over. One, two. A very high chance that the Control the Weak is there. And then you need 1 more Ember, right? Mentally, yeah, yeah. Nightmare Inducer for sure. Yeah, I get it now. See, sorry. He had 2 Ember and Control the Weak on Unfathomable. Should probably do it. Probably. I'm just gonna listen in what Captain Gill has to say. Misplay with Retro Ignition, not haunted. Yeah, yeah, that was rough. They're already talking about the results. I wonder if I fumbled game 1 by reaping rather than killing that stump. Maybe, maybe true. Maybe they, yeah. But anyway, you still need to play your turn, Joe. You still need to play the Control the Weak and something. Uh, Win the game first, then say the GG's. But yeah, I think Ellimac kind of, by saying misplay with the Technician League, that she kind of admitted that she doesn't see a way out as well. But you still need to play it out, though. Still need to play it out. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7 discards. I would say it's very likely that is in hand because I think one of the bottom cards was also was it bait and switch, something maybe. So there's Control the Weak. Control the Weak on Unfathomable. Another Control the Weak on Unfathomable. Charette. I don't think there's any Ember control there. Has to call Unfathomable. 2 creatures on board, but probably nothing in hand either. Um, and it looks like RandomJoe will take it. Yes, RandomJoe takes game 3 and proceeds on to the next round of the final refrain. Thanks all for joining this game. I wasn't feeling great to begin with, but I powered and I powered through. I struggled on. Um, give Captain Gill's stream a look as well, or join him now for a quick debrief. Um, it's over here, so he'll probably keep talking for a little bit. I'll see you guys around. Thanks for joining again, and on to next time. Bye.